Welcome to the Homeless Youth Project. I'm Ron Austin, and the Homeless Youth Project is a pan-left productions project in partnership with the Carlos G Figueroa Foundation. The project, the purpose of the Homeless Youth Project is to inform the public of Tucson of the realities of the condition, of the dreadful conditions of homeless youth that are living in our city. We will be producing a documentary tentatively named Homeless Youth Project, Tucson, Arizona. We'll have a public forum in a downtown venue, and we'll invite you to come see the documentary and get information that you normally do not receive from the mainstream media. So we actually, as I said, we want to convince you that you need to bring about a change, that we need to bring about a change in the condition of homelessness with our youth. And I have a guest today. And my guest is R.B. Thomas. He has two projects, one which is present at the time, which is about to happen, and another one in the offing. And his projects are missing children and runaways. Welcome, Arby.
Hi, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, why don't you tell us about your project? Another thing here is that thing to note is that his projects is related to ours because the Homeless Youth Project is about missing children, and it's also about runaways also. Go ahead.
Well, hi. My name's R.B. Thomas, and I'm having an event. It's a candlelight walk in remembrance of runaway children. November is National Runaway Children Awareness Month, and thanks to the generosity of the Christ Presbyterian Church off of Broadway, they have allowed us to utilize part of their church front area as a staging area to have the event. The event is scheduled for November 3rd at 6 p.m. So if you're able to come, please come. Parking is available at the Wilmot Mall, which is just a short walk from the actual church. The event walkers will start walking from the church down Broadway and down to Rosemont and then back to the church. At the end of that, anyone who may have a child who has run away will have the opportunity to share their experience and their hopes with everyone else. Also, if you are a child who has run away, there will be a jar there if you want to basically send out just a little note to your parents, just say, I'm alive, I'm okay, or even I want to come home. That would be a nice stepping stone. Just write your name, contact information for your parents, and drop it in a jar. I can be the bridge between the two of you and contact them and just, say whatever you want me to say.
So, Arby, what do you expect the result to come from this march of yours?
Well, basically, the purpose of the march or walk is just to let people in the community know that there are children who have run away, who are in the community, just to recognize that is an issue.
Okay, that sounds like a really good cause, and runaway kids is part of the homeless youth pictures. It's part of the big picture. I mean, with my project, I'm trying to cover as much as the 360-degree picture of what homeless youth are about. But it's, I can't cover it all, and it's a good thing that you're doing this because you're kind of filling in the gaps that I don't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Glad to help out.
Yeah, you're right. So and you got another project coming up, yes?
Yes, I do. Um, Basically, the second project that's coming up is I'm going to be talking more about all the issues that are involved with missing children, whereas the first project deals with runaways. There are several different categories that children come under when they're missing. There's family and parental abduction. There's missing by unknown circumstances, lost children, missing by catastrophe, but there's other categories. And so the other project will be discussing those issues.
And I'd also like to bring to your attention that on your screen, you see a telephone number, and you can call in and ask either Arby or myself or both of us a question or make a comment. So, have you in the progression of doing getting ready for your project or either one of the projects, have you come in contact with any missing children or any runaway children?
Actually, I during the process of me doing the research for my project, I did run across a gentleman who had just turned 18, but he informed me that he had ran away himself when he was 14.
Okay. So I believe that that in the process of attempting to acquire some statistics for your project, that you ran into some sort of roadblocks.
A few, a few.
Right.
I had first tried to get the statistical information of missing children for Pima County through the Pima County Police Department, and basically came up empty. I then tried to get the statistical information through the Sheriff's Department, and that hasn't panned out anything yet as well. I actually one of the agencies I did contact, which was let's see, the Arizona Department of Public Safety. They gave me some information, but it wasn't really detailed. But they did suggest that I contact other agencies, which I had tried and again came up empty.
And you know, the picture of, I mean, you know, what Arby is talking about is something that about the establishment and the youth that I have come in contact with that are homeless. They run up against brick walls from the establishment. I mean, okay, let me give you an example. There is a particular group of youngsters which I've been in contact with, and they had their belongings stashed in a particular place, and the police came along and they pepper sprayed all of their stuff, okay, all of their belongings, all of those things that connect them to families and maybe even humanity. You understand? Pictures, IDs, medication, mementos of the good life of living in home and such of that sort. They pepper sprayed them so that heavily pepper sprayed them so that they would be of no use to anyone. And so those youths, I mean, you know, they lost those connections. I mean, they're already homeless, okay? And I imagine some of them are imbibing in drugs and alcohol, but, you know, they had connections to their families and connections to being human that were lost due to the establishment not understanding and not treating them as they should. Another example is that me and my photographer, we did in doing the homeless youth project. We did the homeless youth project in the tunnels, which you can see on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and look up "homeless champion," one word, you can see homeless youth project in the tunnels. And one of our visitations there, where these youths were living, the second visitation, the police or the city, let's say, had gone in there with fire hoses and sprayed the tunnels down and sprayed all those youth's belongings and destroyed them and washed them down the tunnel. To me, that's atrocious. To me, I can't say the right words to say how I feel about that. Okay, I mean, that stuff that was destroyed or coated with pepper spray or washed away were the last linkages of those kids with society, with family, with some sort of belonging, and it's an atrocious. Have you ever heard anything of that sort, Arby?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
It's a sad thing.
Yeah, right. It's really sad. So your project with the runaways. Have you received a lot of help otherwise?
Well, as far as putting together the project, some companies have offered sponsorship. We had received some certificates from Harley-Davidson of Tucson. We had just today the Isabel Salas Volunteer Center had given us some candles and T-shirts and some water for the event. Sadly, though, they did tell me that their center was closing today. And so for that, I ask anyone out there to pray for the family and wish them well. We've also received some sponsorship from Miracle Springs Resort in California, and from Revolve Store in Tucson. They're a Volvo repair shop off of 4th. So thank you all for your support. Although, there's still, a long way to go
Right.
before the event. Still need to find some food.
Right.
Food.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard that, didn't you? Okay. So if you can come forward with some food for the event, I'm sure Arby would be more than willing to accept it, and you probably should give them your information.
Oh, that would help.
It would help.
If you'd like more information or to contact me, you can send me an email at info@familytreenp.org. Just send me an email and I'll get it.
And I would repeat that if I were you.
Oh, so the email address again is info@familytreenp.org.
And don't forget, if you have any questions about either the Homeless Youth Project or Arby's Missing Children or Runaway Children Project, there is a number on your screen. You can call and ask questions or make a comment if you choose. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, Arby, what led you in this direction? What this was? You have some family members or something that were runaways or missing, or what was the thing that brought you into this?
Well, I felt that it was a passion of mine that I needed to follow, and working in with an organization called Family Tree, I moved forward.
Okay. So in working with Family Tree, you came in contact or in some way or heard a lot of news about runaways and missing children?
I had heard more. I had heard stories about runaway children. I had heard stories about parental abductions. And so that's my passion. I'm sure there's at least one person in every household out there that someone knows someone, that has ran away. If you haven't ran away yourself in the past, you know somebody.
Well, I know myself. What brought me into this sort of project was that I'm formerly homeless myself. Okay, and at the time of being homeless, I was an active crack addict. Okay, I've been clean for 16 years now, maybe 17 or 18 years. I'm not sure. I'm not one of those people that keep track of his anniversary date.
I understand.
Right, as long as I'm clean, that's all that counts. But when I was out there on the street, I came in contact with a considerable number of homeless youths, and I listened to their stories. I mean, they didn't affect me at the time because I was homeless and I was a crack addict, and my whole focus at the time was my next hit. But it wasn't until I got clean and stabilized that my mind went back to those incidences of those kids talking to me, and they told me some horrendous stories. I mean, horrendous stories about adults who used him and abused him, and all they needed was shelter or some food or maybe some love. Okay, and I'm surprised. Well, not really surprised, but if we don't do something, we, the public of Tucson, if we don't do something about the condition of children who are homeless in Tucson, people who run away, children who are missing, we're going to have a whole generation of children growing up that are going to hate us because we did not intervene in their lives. We all know that youths cannot raise themselves. And that's what homeless youths are doing. They are raising themselves and raising each other. Okay? We know they can't do this in a wholesome fashion. You can imagine all the mischief that they are getting into without the influence of a responsible adult. Okay? And as they grow older, they're going to be a drain on society. They're going to be a drain on law enforcement. They're going to be a drain on the healthcare system. They'll be a drain on our taxes. And more than likely, many of them will become criminals or psychopathic or just totally antisocial. And you have no idea. We have no idea what youths out there in the street right now may have in his head the cure for cancer, or some scientific phenomena which hasn't been solved as of yet. Okay, or another youth that may have possibly some beautiful music in their head that possibly would be enhanced by. Okay, we're letting all this talent go to waste. But it's not just about talent. It's about humans. It's about human beings. It's about people, everybody having a piece of the pie, so to say. Okay? And these kids are nowhere near getting to have a piece of the pie.
I think the phone's ringing.
Oh. Hello, welcome to the Homeless Youth Project.
Gentlemen, seems like a very, very well-purposed cause, and I commend you on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have to ask, have you set up places for these kids to actually get a meal and sleep or stay overnight or anything like that?
Well, there are a number of agencies in town that facilitate these processes you're speaking of. There's our family services, there's Youth on Their Own, Stand Up for Kids. There are many agencies. And what happens with these agencies is they have outreach people that go out into the street and into the wash. They try to pull these kids into some sort of services. They take food to them, they counsel them, and they do all they can in order to console them.
Yeah, that's great. Right behind my house, I live at Speedway in Craycroft area.
Oh, okay.
They just opened up a new Circle K, and right after they opened that last week, you see an influx of a lot of homeless kids hanging out there late at night,
Yeah.
bumming money, trying to get a next meal or something. So, no, what you guys are doing is great. I commend it. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
because right now the kids are the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was the young man that I spoke with who told me that he had ran away when he was 14. He told me that one of the biggest issues he had when he was living on the street was food.
Yeah. Well, it's bad enough when you're out on the street and you're middle-aged.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you're on the street and you're young teens, you're young kids, you don't have a clue what's going on.
Yeah.
You're looking for the survival, just the survival, and you'll believe anything anybody says. So.
That's right.
Okay, guys, keep it up. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Adios.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye. Oh.
Yes, and he brought up a good point there that, and these kids, they're out there on the street, they don't have a clue, just like he said, and they make a lot of mistakes, okay?
Yeah.
And that's why they run afoul of the law enforcement system quite often.
And become victims.
And become victims, right. And also, like he said, they tend, well, the thing is that youth, when they're on the street initially, may believe anything they hear, as he said, but what happens is that they become hardened, okay? They become hardened to the point that later on, during their homeless condition, even those outreach workers from the various agencies that provide services to these kids have a very difficult time getting through to them because there are many adults that have abused and used them. Okay, so what happens is that you just can't go out there and pull one of those kids into housing, offer them services. Sometimes you have to go out there often and just gain their trust, and you bring food to them, you provide whatever services that the kid wants to avail themselves of, and but you have to go out there sometimes, maybe a dozen times, to gain their trust enough for them to trust you to bring them into some sort of housing or some sort of establishment thing. They really do not trust the establishment, okay? Because the establishment treats them bad, okay? Just as I mentioned about the youths that had their belongings pepper sprayed by the police department, the youths that had their belongings washed away by the combination of the police department and the fire department. Okay, so there are things of this nature that make the youths totally untrusting of anything that smacks of the system, or even adults for that matter. I mean, I have talked to homeless youth when I was homeless, and they're quite often very introverted and very much inside themselves. And by the time they got to me, they didn't want to really talk to me, but quite often, I being homeless and they being homeless, they felt that they could, they felt the need to release whatever it was that going on in their life. So quite often I ran into stream of consciousness thoughts.
In these last seconds, I'd like to ask everyone out there who's a parent to tell your children that you love them.
Thank you. to the home for watching the Homeless Youth Project.